in this offseason. You were a highly sought-after guy who probably had your choice of a couple of different jobs. Why was Michigan the right one for you?
To be around excellence every day, the brand, the reputation of the athletic department of the university and what it represents, it made sense for a lot of reasons.
What do you like the most? I know you've only been there for a short time, but what do you like the most about what you found out about the athletic department being there actually in person?
How connected all teams, all groups are. The coaches are close, they work together, and it's just everyone's pulling in the same direction.
What have the conversations been like with Sharon and Ward and the other coaches, Kim, who I'm sure have tried to welcome you in as quickly as possible?
Well, we're all sharing ideas because there's so much new to our profession now, to coaching, and so we're sharing different ideas. Their humility, they give us their time, their staffs, they help us around with official visits and things like that. So, and then obviously with Ann Arbor being a great foodie town, they've helped us with great restaurants as well.
It's a very important aspect, I'm sure, for the family when everybody gets to settle in. For those who didn't get to see your teams at FAU or before play, what stylistically should be expected as you take the floor this season in Ann Arbor?
Well, we play fast, we shoot a lot of threes. We try not to ever walk the ball up and down the court. We want as much action as possible, but more importantly, a real togetherness amongst our group. The way they interact with each other, the way they interact with fans, it's something that we've kind of branded ourselves as being real unique.
How does that affect the recruiting philosophy, whether it be the traditional style or through the transfer portal?
Well, any recruit, we want them to watch us play and say, I want to be a part of that. I want to be coached by those guys, and I want to play with those players. And so those are the things we're looking at first. If we can get a great player through the high school ranks, through prep school ranks, junior college, the portal, it doesn't really matter. We're trying to get guys that fit us, that want to be coached by us, and value the same things that we value.
Chemistry-wise, personality-wise, inside your locker room, what have your best teams always had in terms of like a golden thread?
A real mutual respect amongst each other and togetherness with the group. It's a collaboration. We lean on our players a lot for what we need to be doing better and give them ownership within our program and all things. Ultimately, we have to make the final decisions, but it's a true collaboration, and we value the input of our players.
This is going to be a transition for you anyway. Taking over a new program just happens to be that the conference is also getting a little bit bigger. Do you look at it that way as, well, I was going to make a transition anyway, or does it become doubly as challenging now that the league has gotten even deeper and stronger?
Well, it's challenging that we're going to have to learn new teams and new styles of play amongst the coaches, but for the most part, I think all of us at college athletics, we're going through a new group each year. And I think it's going to make us all better coaches. We're not going to be able to play the same system every year. We're going to have to adapt to our personnel. We're going to have to change and things like that. So I do think long term we'll become better coaches because of it.
You brought up adapt. I think that's such a key word. Whether your adaptability or flexibility for you and your staff, how important is that? Not just game day coaching or prepping for a game, but in recruiting and understanding what the transfer portal and the NIL and all those things are now and what they could potentially become in the future.
Well, the recruiting process is so brief now that we're going to have to pivot, we're going to have to adapt on the fly, and no one really cares if there's an excuse or reason you didn't get it done. So we have to figure it out daily and enjoy the process, because at the end of the day, we're all going to put our teams on the court in November, and we're going to have a team, and all the things we've been talking about for the previous 4 or 5 months is out the window.
I know you certainly have a Big Ten background going back to your days as a student, but as you start to look at what games could potentially be on the road schedule, other than just perhaps a return trip to Assembly Hall, what other trips excite you?
Well, you remember how difficult each and every game is, especially on the road in the Big Ten. But the LA trip, my first job out of college was at SC, so there'll be some sentimental value to that game. And then just, I know my wife's excited to go to LA in the wintertime.
So maybe you then have a unique perspective in letting the other Big Ten coaches and players that have never played at places like USC and certainly inside Pauley Pavilion understand what that's going to be like for them as conference road games as well.
I don't know if they'll be leaning on me for advice and those things, but it will be. It's exciting because anything new is, we can either complain about it or be excited about the challenges, and obviously the opportunity to see new styles, go against new coaches. It's going to be fun.
Over the course of the next couple of months, as you get ready to take the floor for the first game as head coach, what's priority number one for you and your staff?
getting to know our players, and even getting to know each other as staff members. What are each other's strengths and weaknesses? How do we navigate each other's personalities and work together? And then once we get the staff really aligned, then how do we, I guess, intersect that with the players and getting to know them and their families and their goals and dreams in a very short period of time?
And how difficult is that? Because you're not just a coach, but you're a husband and you're a dad and you have things to worry about and a family that hasn't quite gotten here yet. And you're trying to put all these things together, but also focus on that block M that's on your chest.
I think just like work-life balance, I think when we're at work, if you're a high achiever, when you're at work, you're thinking about you should be at home more. And when you're at home, you're probably thinking you should be at work more. So it's, fortunately for me, my family's involved in the game with our program, so I can intertwine the two.
I know the fans are always going to define success by wins, losses, how far you go in the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament. Other than just the pure numbers, how will you define it, especially in year one?
If we can put a product on the court that really resembles the team that we want to be in time. And we do have some older guys that can lead the way, but also just a group that can set the tone for years going forward.